Good afternoon. I'd like to call the Ways and Means Committee meeting to order, please, for May 8th. If you would please stand and join me in a pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hold on. Roll call, please.
Mr. Stockin,
Present.
Mr. Fanton,
Here.
Mrs. Burdick. Here. Mr. Demick,
Here.
Mr. Havey,
Here.
Mr. Healy,
Here.
Mr. Ricky.
Here.
Mrs. Root. Here. And Mr. Harris. 8 present.
Thank you. We need approval of the minutes for the April 17 meeting, please.
Pat will move those.
Root will second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And they're carried. And the April 24th meeting.
Rick, you move.
Vertical second.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. The audit was distributed to you by email on your desk for copies. Could you have a motion for approval, please?
Healy will move it.
Root will second.
Are there any questions about the audit?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Terry, under budget, there's 94,000. Could you just say what that might be for?
MTS.
If that gets charged under budget. I'll look it up. That's fine. The $90,000 of that is in fact the MTS payment that you made. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. Are there other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. There was one tax bill correction. Treasurer, Madam Treasurer, you want to say anything about that or no?
Actually, I would defer to the real property tax director for that correction.
Okay. Okay, nothing special about a routine kind of thing. That's just information, right? I think so. Do we have to approve that?
You have to approve that because it's over $2,500.
Okay, forgot that, sorry.
Anything below that, I can just approve, and it tells you there's a little policy on that, so.
Okay, thank
Pat will
you.
move that. Demick will second.
Are there questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. I'd like our county attorney to speak to this next issue of a public hearing for the redistricting. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. I'm here today to request a resolution authorizing a public hearing to discuss the proposed plans of reapportionment for the districts of the Allegheny County Board of Legislators. In this public hearing would be held on Tuesday, May 21st at 7 p.m. here in the legislative chambers. This public hearing is actually considered an informal public hearing. It is not required by the law. By law, it would allow members of the public to provide you, the Board of Legislators, input and suggestions about the current proposed redistrict maps and plans, which are currently online, which are available for viewing, prior to you as the board making a final decision on which map and plan you want to make permanent, in which then you would request me as the county attorney to draft a local law, and then you are required by law under municipal home rule law to have then a public hearing at which time comments would be solicited about the local law before final approval and adoption. And any written, we also are allowing any written comments any member of the public wishes to submit prior to the commencement of the public hearing can be sent. And then the clerk of the Board of Legislators would prepare with the assistance of the county attorney a notice of this hearing for publication.
Thank you. Can we have a motion?
Burdick will move.
Haley will second.
Okay, now are there questions?
I have a question. Are the
Yes, ma'am.
public comments that you receive in writing made available to us?
They will be. We have not received any so far.
Other questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, and that's carried. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next is a couple amendments relating to previous resolutions. If our county administrator would help us with these, please.
Thank you. So these are both related to the same topic, and this was a grant application that we were going to have the land bank be a subrecipient on. If you remember correctly, we went through and approved these. We ran it rather quickly because the deadline for the application was coming up. We've gone back and looked through, and there were a few pieces of language that we really should include in those resolutions to kind of firm up our grant application. So we'd like to go back and amend both of those to include that.
Okay, can we have a motion for the first one, please?
Van will move it. Ricky second.
Moved and supported. Are there questions? Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and that's carried. Any further comments, or we'll go ahead with the second one?
Demick will move the second one.
Root will second.
Thank you. County Administrator, anything to add here?
Nope, it was same idea as the first one.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that's carried. Thank you. We're now ready for referrals from committees, and the first committee is Public Works, please.
Due to a resignation, County Superintendent of Public Works Thomas Windus is requesting permission to fill one full-time bargaining unit grade 9 for Department of Public Works, and I will move that.
Demick will second.
Are there questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. Public Safety, please, Mr. Havey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Emergency Medical Services Coordinator Bonnie Van Housen is requesting a resolution to reappropriate the DISH's EMPG 22 grant. The total amount of the grant was $46,912, which includes a 50% local share. The amount, an amount of $19,261 was spent, leaving the balance of $41.95 to be distributed in the, on your sheet. $2,000 to PPE and $21.95 to conference, and I will move that.
Haley will second that.
Are there any questions?
Just a comment. This is for equipment for our volunteers. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's correct.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried.
Number 2, Mrs. Van Housen is requesting a resolution to reappropriate the DISH's SHSP 21 grant. The total was $59,750, and the amount of the OES grant was $31,366. The amount of $10,432 was spent in 2023 and leaves the balance to be reappropriated as follows. Equipment, $16,809. Conference, $3,300. Hazmat reference materials, $368. Connectivity, $457, for a total of $20,934, and I will move that.
Demick will second.
Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. Thank you.
Number 3, Mrs. Van Housen is requesting a resolution to accept the DHSES SHSP 22 grant. The amount of the grant is $32,863. The amount of zero was spent in 2023, and that leaves a balance to be reappropriated as follows. Equipment, $29,563. Conference, $2,500. Connectivity, $800, for a grand total of $32,863, and I will move that.
Vertical second.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried.
Okay, and finally, we have, the Sheriff's Office is requesting a resolution to perform a budget adjustment to reappropriate and reallocate all remaining unspent grant funding from the New York State Department of Criminal Justice's body-worn camera grant. The balance is $11,039.45 and would like to be reappointed to the 2024 budget. It breaks down like this: $11,039.45 sheriff's equipment, and I will move that.
Healy will second.
Questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. Personnel, please.
Board of Election Commissioners Mike McCormick and Brent Reynolds are requesting a resolution to reappropriate unspent grant funds for $43,334 from the Board of Elections 2021 Technology Innovation and Election Resource Tier Grant into the 2024 budget. The amount is $43,334, and I will move that.
Patton will second it.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried.
Board of Election Commissioners Mike McCormick and Brett Reynolds are requesting a resolution to reappropriate unspent grant funds totaling $32,117 from the 22-23 budget. And it is broken up into $14,982 and $17,135. None of the funds were spent, therefore the entire amount for each grant year needs to be reappropriated into the 2024 budget. The state has extended the ability to spend these funds through March 31st of 2024. And I will move that.
Demick will second.
Any questions? Comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
A little late.
That's carried. Thank you. That's all the referrals I have. Any old business from anyone here?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to know what the status, we talked about some funding for the Allegheny County Historical Society over in Andover. And if somebody could refresh my memory to see where we're at on that and what our plans are, if any, to help subsidize that nonprofit organization.
Administrator maybe could have a response?
The response, so we have a gift agreement that we're working through to gift all the genealogy materials to the Historical Society. That does not come with any monetary, that I believe that's really not a county function of a historian. Those documents would be more properly placed with the Historical Society. We have that. We are looking for a contract with them to house some of the artifacts that the county is obligated to keep or should be keeping as a historian, but we don't know what they all are. We have them, there is no inventory. We have a grant application pending. I'm assuming we will be awarded that to hire staff over the summer to do the inventory so that we could contract with the Historical Society to house some of that collection either late in the fall or by January. Outside of that, if you wanted to give them money, you probably would be looking at a direct bequest of money to the Historical Society and not a contract.
Okay. Well, they spoke before to suspend some of our ARP funds there for our volunteers, our ambulance and fire people. But I also think, there's other functions being provided by organizations in the county that deserve some monetary help. And if there's some way we could help out the Historical Society, they're doing a great job over there preserving our history. Is, I think, very important. You look at what's been going on around the country today, where everybody's toppling our monuments and trying to destroy our history and rewrite it. I think we should do, and we're steep in history in this area. And I think we should do everything we can to promote that effort on their behalf.
Thank you. Comments there. I would simply add also that there was a item here related to Office of the Aging that was tabled at our last meeting, and just want you to know that there's discussion going on, and we'll be bringing that back eventually. Anything else? Any new business? Good of the order.
Mr. Chairman, I'm pleased to announce a caucus at 1:30 in the DPW conference room. Thank you.
Anything else for good of the order? We have a motion to adjourn.
Ricky, a move.
Hayfield, second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that's carried. We are adjourned.